The Loretto Motherhouse Farm cares for Earth. Let's begin by meeting some animals.
Hello everybody, it's Farmer Cody here, and I'm standing amongst our spring cows. These are cows that are going to be giving birth here in the next couple of months. We call them our spring cows because it's the spring season of the year. We also have fall cows, which calve in the fall season of the year. Do you know what other two seasons there are in the year? Summer and winter. We're finishing up the winter season right now. Here beside me is Rascal, and he's my sidekick here on the farm. He helps me whenever I need to bring cattle to the barn. If a cow has a sore foot, or if we need to move cows from one field to another, he helps me to move those cows and take them wherever they need to go. He also gives me a lot of company whenever I'm out on the farm working by myself.
Say hi to Rascal. I'm sure many of you have dogs as well. This calf is a little spoiled. He was raised on a bottle, so he really likes people. Farmer Cody likes to give him scratches. He scratches his head and behind his ears. Do you think you would like petting cows? We like to pet them. This is Farmer Cody and Miss Angela's daughter, Elizabeth. These are her chickens. They live in the backyard at the Rakes family house. Elizabeth loves to feed them treats. Doesn't that sound fun? How many chickens do you see? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're hard to count when they're moving, aren't they? Elizabeth loves to feed them treats.
It's time to learn more about cows.
Hey everybody, it's Farmer Cody here again, and now I'm out in the field with our fall cows. So these cows gave birth to these babies back in the fall season of 2020, so last year. And these calves are about 5 months old. Do any of you all have brothers or sisters who are young, like 5 or 6 or 7 months old? These cows and calves are part of how we care for this part of the earth. The Loretto community really puts a lot of emphasis on caring for the earth. And as the farmer here at the Loretto Motherhouse, I have the responsibility of caring for about 800 acres. Does anybody know how big an acre is? An acre is about the size of a football field. Do any of you all like to watch football? What's your favorite team? Do you have a favorite player? Well, you could play a lot of football games on these 800 football fields that I care for, couldn't you? So on these 800 acres, or these 800 football fields that are on this farm, these cattle graze about 250 of those acres. We move the cattle on a schedule from one field to another field, and then to another field, and then to another field. Our cattle get moved at least twice a week, all throughout the year. Every day out of every year, we are checking on the cattle and making sure that they have all the food that they need, that they're healthy, that they are happy, and that they are doing their job in caring for the earth. And how they care for the earth is by grazing the grasses that we are growing in our fields. Some of the advantages of moving the cows from field to field is that while the cows are not in certain fields, the grasses are able to grow tall because the cows are not there to graze and eat those grasses. When those grasses grow tall, they're also getting long, deep roots into the dirt. And those deep roots in the dirt are able to hold the dirt in place so that whenever we have rain, which comes down and beats on the ground, it can carry the dirt away. Then it can get into the rivers and the streams and into the oceans. But we need that dirt to stay in place so that we can grow those grasses and the other plants that we need to grow in order to have food for us and for the cows, and also for the wildlife that we have on the farm.
So Farmer Cody's just going to walk around, check on the cows, make sure everyone's nice and healthy. He kind of acts like a parent to them. Your parents make sure that you're always nice and healthy and feeling good. So Farmer Cody has to make sure that the cows are always healthy and feeling good. Baby cows are called calves. So there's heifers, which are the girls, and bulls, which are the boys. So you see their ear tags? Some of them have pink ear tags, and some of them have blue. The ear tags are just like earrings that sit in their ears. So you see? Do you see any pink ear tags? What about blue? Do you see any blue? That helps us know which are boys and which are girls. Isn't this a pretty heifer right here? And their moms are actually called cows. A cow just means that she's a female that's had a baby.
Now let's move on to plants. Can plants grow in the snow?
It is very snowy in Kentucky right now, but we still have green plants. Can you all see those leaves coming up in the snow? Farmer Cody's going to tell you a little more about that.
So as part of taking care of the earth, my job as a farmer is to ensure that we have green plants growing 365 days a year. Every day of the year, I want as many green plants growing across the farm as I can possibly have. And you can see right here that we have green plants growing in February, even when we have 4 inches of snow on the ground. These green plants are still growing underneath of this snow, and in a couple of days when the snow melts and the sunshine is able to get back down to these green plants, they're just going to thrive, and they're going to put down deep roots in the soil, in the dirt, and make sure that that dirt stays in place. They provide food for wildlife to live through the wintertime, and they collect the sun's energy and put that energy into the dirt so that the crops that we grow later are able to harvest that energy and produce good, nutritious food for us and for other animals. Now I'm standing in one section of woods. Can you see all the trees around me? Why do we need trees? Well, trees can do a lot of things for us, for the environment, and for our earth. One of the ways that we care for Earth is ensuring that we have healthy trees on our property. The trees provide homes for our wildlife. Can you see all these little tracks in the snow around me? Those are deer tracks and rabbit tracks and squirrel and fox and all kinds of wildlife that make their homes in and amongst all of these trees. These trees also provide oxygen for us to breathe and for all of the other animals to breathe. The grasses that the cows graze and the cover crops that we grow in our fields, they also provide oxygen that we are able to breathe. Now I'm standing in one of our tree plantings. These trees in this field were planted in 2012. So this tree is about 9 years old. Trees are so important that we do plant them from time to time on different places on the farm. Can you see these tall plants that are around the trees? These are actually wildflowers that are also really useful for wildlife. They have seeds in the flowers that the birds can eat. There are wildlife tracks all around me in this snow. We have animals that make their homes in amongst all of these wildflowers as well. So as a farmer, not only do I care for the animals that we have on the farm, like the cows and rascal and any other livestock that we have, but I also care for the wild animals that are on the farm, like the deer and the birds and the butterflies. The butterflies also really enjoy these wildflowers whenever they have nice, pretty blooms, and they go around and collect the nectar for their food.
Now, let's check in on Elizabeth's chickens.
The chickens are not real sure about the snow, but look at those cool little chicken tracks. So just like people, when they walk out in the snow, they leave tracks. So when I let them out this morning, I threw some corn out. So you see those little holes in the snow? There's some corn in there for them. So they're pecking through the snow and picking up that corn and eating it. So they're just getting a little treat this morning. The chickens love when we feed them scraps. So right now, they're eating some eggshells. That gives them plenty of calcium so they can make new eggs. They've got a squash and an eggplant. Our veggie delivery service got lost in the mail, so our stuff arrived frozen. Instead of throwing it away, we gave it to the chickens. Here's some lettuce. They've already been eating on that. They've spread out some lettuce over there. There's some herbs, some parsley. They've got a pepper. So they're just enjoying all kinds of vegetables that we weren't going to eat. So instead of throwing them away, we gave them to them. And that's one way we can care for the earth. We are reducing the amount of garbage that we produce by feeding our vegetable scraps to our chickens.